What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Blue Chips here on Rookie HQ. I'm your host, the authentic one, Mr. Matty Kiwoom. And today's episode, well, I got a good one today. We are in full-fledged NFL mock draft season. We are trying to predict the future, and I'm going to talk about my NFL mock 5.0 here today. We're going to go through it. Not going to give them all away. If you want the entire 1 through 32, you're going to have to go to playerprofiler.com. But I'll give you some of my thoughts here. We'll talk a little bit about some of the players, some of the fits, how free agency may have reacted, maybe some changes I had to make after coming up with my mock 5.0, having to alter some because of it. But again, we're going to get it all here on this episode of Blue Chips. First and foremost, make sure you subscribe to Rookie HQ. Make sure you like the video. And make sure you leave a comment. Who are some of your favorite fits, some of your best landing spots for the players in this year's draft? So let's get on into it. NFL Mock 5.0. I'm going to start with the 101 and make this quick. Fernando Mendoza, it is as lock gets. I mean, the industry as a whole, everyone that's making comments of it, everyone is saying the same thing. Mendoza is playing for Vegas. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of my write-ups because, again, if you want to get all 32 first-round picks with blurbs, you can go to playerprofiler.com. I wrote one word, duh. It's just happening, folks. It is absolutely happening. But these next couple of picks, they seem like, the Jets and the Cardinals, they have a few different options that they could go. Defense, offensive line. Will the Jets get a little aggressive and go after maybe a Ty Simpson, who is looking like the QB2 in this class? In my mock 5.0, I don't have them taking such a brazen step. I have them going kind of chalk with those next two. And again, if you want to see picks 2 and 3, go check out the mock 5.0 at playerprofile.com. Where I will land next is pick number 4, the Tennessee Titans. Robert Saleh is the new head coach. Cam Ward, going into his second year, it seems as if they need to make some improvements, if you will, to that offense. Offensive line, possible, but I don't know. I think they get him the best weapon in this class. Carnell Tate? Nope. Jordan Tyson? Nope. Kenyon Sadiq? Nope. The best weapon in this class is none other than Jeremiah Love. So Jeremiah Love going number 4 to the Titans. Love will, he'll bring an explosiveness, this otherworldly ability to make plays. He's got burst, that home run speed. And he provides Tennessee with such a dynamic weapon that they desperately need if they want Cam Ward and that offense to take a step up. There'll be receivers that they can grab that are going to be very good with their second-round pick. They could double dip offense. Hell, they could triple dip. A little drip, drip, drip. 1, 2, 3, 3 trips. 3 triple dips. 3 dips. But here and now, they get the best player available, maybe the best player in the entire class, Jeremiah Love. Went to Indy, showed out. 6 feet, 212 pounds, and then he runs a 4.36 40. Gets a 98th percentile speed score, and again, you can get all those metrics at playerprofiler.com. Coming off a fantastic 2025 season, and he's really just putting the cherry on top. Jeremiah Love is an absolute stud, playmaking beast. Going to be Cam Ward's best friend. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, you ain't blocking Jeremiah Love. This is a premier pick. A big decision, and not often would I commend a running back going in the top 4, but we've now seen kind of this shift in value. I don't think that the league has completely adapted the importance of running back, but now we've seen the importance of Kenneth Walker in the Super Bowl, Saquon Barkley the year before that, even Isaiah Pacheco, how much he provided the Chiefs during their Super Bowl runs. I know it's they got Mahomes, they don't need it as much, but still the running back matters. So if they want to take that next step, they want to elevate Cam Ward, you got to get him playmakers. Jeremiah Love is exactly that. Now the next player that I'm going to talk about is probably the biggest riser for me. Coming out of the combine, that's Monroe Freeling, offensive tackle from Georgia. Got him going 6 to the Browns. It seemed to be a pretty popular pick around the industry, so it's not really, wowing anyone here with that call per se. But absolute monster. 6'7", A little bit light, but again, you keep putting on the pounds. He can build on that frame because he's got it, 6'7". He's got the long arms. He's strong, and what an athlete! I mean, just tested through the roof in Indy. He was just an absolute beast at the combine, and then you put it all together. To me, he looks like the guy that I would put my eggs in that basket to be a left tackle, a franchise left tackle. Monroe, Maui Noah, Spencer Fanu, Caden Proctor, those guys are good. I mean, you could make the argument that Fanu and Maui Noah are the two best offensive linemen in the class, but it seems as if, based on their length and kind of what we've seen on tape and how they were used in college, that they're right tackles or maybe even interior linemen. Again, good players. You're going to want them on your team. They are all drafted quite high, according to my mock 5.0. Again, check it out at playprofile.com. But Monroe Fring had to talk about it. Freak athlete, got the size, and I think he could be that foundational left tackle that the Browns desperately need to protect either Shedeur or Deshaun Watson. And the next guy I'm going to talk about here is an offensive guy. So originally, I had this thought in my head. Okay, I thought to myself, hey, the Dolphins, they're cutting Tua. The Dolphins aren't going to just roll with Quinn Ewers at quarterback. What if, just maybe, they go after Ty Simpson? Then they go ahead and pay Malik Willis to be their QB1. And then I thought, okay, if it's not going to be Ty Simpson, they want to go Malik Willis. Maybe they're kind of angling themselves to either be good with Willis or bad enough to go into the quarterback pool in 2027. So what do you do here if you're the Dolphins? Well, you're going to cut Tyreek Hill. You're letting go of, they made a lot of cuts. It's a big retooling. But you still got Jalen Waddle. But you need more playmakers. I know they signed Greg Dulcich, but that's not going to get, the most out of a guy like Malik Willis. Who will? Well, I know a guy who's 6'2", 192 pounds, and I don't care that he only ran a 4.5 40 in Indy. I see a little bit more speed on tape. I think his route running ability, all of the intangibles, all of the factors make Carnell Tate the pick here at number 11. He's going to give the Dolphins a polished wide receiver to go with Jalen Waddle. I think their games kind of complement one another, especially as Waddle he's not the speediest guy that he used to be, but he's still a great route runner, great separator, good last year. Carnell Tate just makes things a little bit easier with him because he has great body control, good route running, and I think his skill set really fits this offense, and they're going to have to elevate Malik Willis. I know that he played great in the backup role for the Packers, but even in those games, they utilized his legs, they utilized a strict game plan, and, they bring in the defensive coordinator from Green Bay, so some familiarity there with Willis. To get the most out of a guy like Willis, they're going to have to elevate the offense. Okay, they could have done it in the offensive line, but during for this mock, this exercise here, they were going after the number 4 offensive lineman. Doesn't seem like you're getting the most bang out of your buck. Could they go defense? Sure, but I feel like if you have a defensive head coach, he's going to get the guys on the defensive side to play better, play up. So they go offense. Carnell Tate. Carnell Tate is the pick. Great year out of Ohio State. First wide receiver off of the board. The next player that I'm going to talk about is actually my wide receiver one. You can get the big board, again, playerprofile.com. Goes pick 14. You're saying, Baltimore, huh? Wow. Get another weapon for Lamar. Wrong. Remember, the Ravens traded that pick, amongst other stuff, for Max Crosby. So it is the Las Vegas Raiders. So you're doing the math in your head. Ooh. They draft Fernando Mendoza. They sign Tyler Linderbaum, to a record center deal. He's going to kind of anchor that offensive line. They brought in, was it Jalen McMillan? Not McMillan. They brought in another receiver, but not a high-end guy. They have Jack Bash, fine. They traded away Jacoby Myers. They don't have him. But they have Brock Bowers. But what they need is more weaponry. They got the running back. They took him early last year. They got Brock Bowers. They took him in the first round the year before that. Now they go back to the draft, get their receiver, and I believe Jordan Tyson is the guy. He's got the right skill set, dynamic wide receiver, and he's really going to pair well, I think, in the offense and how they can attack, how they could fit him in with Brock Bowers. His route running, it's pretty polished. His separation ability is there. I think he could be a reliable target on a quarterback that I know the Raiders said they don't want to start him right away. You can say whatever you want. You take a kid first overall if he looks good in camp. And we all know Fernando Mendoza's mentality, that dog, and we saw him throughout the whole national championship run. He's going to get on that field earlier than later. And they need to make sure that he is surrounded with weapons. They got a few pieces offensive line. Again, why go with the 5th or 6th lineman off the board? Or you could take the number 2 wide receiver, a guy who I have is ranked my number 1 wide receiver, a guy who was going into the season the consensus number 1 wide receiver, a guy who, dominant in college, 94th percentile college dominator, 97th percentile college target share, broke out at age 18, 99th percentile, checks a lot of boxes to be a good player at the NFL level. Go ahead, 6'2", 200 pounds. I didn't do anything at the combine. He's working on getting healthy. But I think if he did work out and did show out, he'd be the consensus number 1 wide receiver. He would be probably gone. So you got to count your blessings sometimes when you are the team like the Las Vegas Raiders. Get your quarterback of the future with the 101. You get your wide receiver of the future with the 114. We're going to continue through Mark 5.0 right after this.
Hey, what if I told you there was a Dynasty app where you could get player lifetime values, evaluate trades, including draft picks out to 2028, compare the advanced metrics of 2 players, look up the sentiment, buy, sell, hold on players? Well, there is a mobile app that has all of that and more called the Dynasty Dominator, and it's $5 in the App Store on Google Play. This is my gift to you, the most affordable Dynasty League domination app available today. And if you already have it, the 2026 rookie class is ready to download in the app. Let's go!
Go get it now. All right, let's keep it going. I'm going to stop here at pick 16, New York Jets, because there's a lot of Jets fans out there. A lot of them are probably hoping that maybe they do go quarterback at 16. Based on how I have them picking at 2, or who I have them picking at 2, I thought to myself, if you're trying to do the right thing in New York, you're trying to actually build a foundation, you're trying to put together a roster that can win in the NFL, are they ready for a quarterback? Aren't they more suited to get a vet that helps, guys like Aaron Glenn in the front office stick around? And isn't 2027 the year where they go quarterback? In my opinion, yes. And my mock reflects it. So at pick 16, I'm going big Caleb Banks. And when you go back, again, go check out the full mock 5.0, playerprofile.com. You pair up Caleb Banks to who they took at 2, and all of a sudden you got 2 absolute studs holding up those jerseys when you do your introductory press conference. Caleb Banks brings size, power, and just beyond just power, there's a horsepower. I mean, he's a monster. 6'6", 320-plus pounds, jumped over 30 inches. I don't even know if I could jump 13 inches. Maybe in my younger days. I'm older now. But anyway, you put Caleb Banks on this defensive front. All of a sudden, you got that anchor in the middle of that defense. Maybe what they lost last year, trading away some of these players. They're trying to recoup some defensive studs. And here with Caleb Banks, he's just going to bring some ability, size, power. And that ability is going to help crash the pocket from the inside. It's really going to help the run game, the run defense. And again, it's going to create a lot more advantageous matchups for the pass rushers on the outside. And I see a team here, and then you match him up with Travion Sweat, and now all of a sudden you got 2 beefy boys, 2 monsters in the middle of that defense that are just going to make things so dangerous for opposing offensive lines. So is this the pick? I think so. It's my pick in 5.0. All right, let's keep it moving. I'm actually going to go right to that next pick and I'll make this quick. Detroit Lions take Caden Proctor. That seems like just a match made in heaven. Just an absolute mauler. Kind of can use that flexibility. The reports are that Penei Sewell will move to the left side, be the left tackle, so that replaces Decker. They lost some guys in the middle. They brought in some new bodies, but Proctor gives them flexibility. Kind of in the same blueprint as a Sewell, where I don't think he has the upside. I don't think he's as good. I think Penei Sewell is one of the best offensive linemen, if not the best offensive lineman in the league. Where I don't know if that's the outcome for Proctor, but you put him on the right side. You could put him in the middle. You could put him on the left side if Penei Sewell gets hurt. Penei Sewell is just more comfortable on the right. Whatever. It adds offensive linemen. And given the fact that the Lions, what made the Lions so good was their grit. eating kneecaps, dragging people in the deep waters, all the crazy Dan Campbell sayings, right? Caden Proctor definitely provides that to a team that needs it. And the Detroit Lions. The next place I want to stop here is the Carolina Panthers. And the reason why I want to stop here is because I thought they were going edge. But then they went and paid Jalen Phillips a lot of money. Lots of money. And my thought behind them drafting an edge player in the first round was they took two players that I liked last year, but they were second, third round picks. They didn't get the elite guy. I thought an investment was needed on that, pass rushing rotation. They did that through free agency. So no longer do I have them going there, but I do have them taking a player that one of my favorites in the entire class. You're not going to find him on many mocks in the first, but I have him I think he is a first round player. Anthony Hill Jr. from Texas, fast, physical linebacker. He attacks downhill. He's got good range. His tackling ability makes him such a valuable piece, especially for a team that needs it in the Carolina Panthers. Now, all of a sudden, you're starting to look at this defense. You go, they got the cornerback, the elite corner. And if you look at playerprofile.com, the cornerback rankings, you'll notice their corners were pretty strong last year outside of Horn. Then you have the edge rushing. They got a good little rotation. And it's going to get better with Phillips being added to the mix. Now you bring a guy like Hill, a guy that could pin his ears back and chase the quarterback around. He can play in the middle of the field. He's fast. He's agile. He's got all the things that they need. He's an absolute weapon. And I like him better than C.J. Allen. C.J. Allen might be the pick if they prefer Allen. After the combine, prefer Anthony Hill Jr. Just watching the tape, I've been very big on Anthony Hill Jr. The next stop I'm going to make here on my tour of my NFL mock 5.0 is Pittsburgh. I thought Pittsburgh was a mortal lock to take a wide receiver, but then they made a pretty crafty trade. Basically just falling back one round from the 6th to the 7th and then paying Michael Pittman Jr. Now you have Michael Pittman Jr., DK Metcalf, Kelvin Austin, Roman Wilson, I guess. But they also have other picks. They can make a receiver pick later on, but I don't think the receiver is now the pick here. There's a glaring need on this roster, and new head coach, Mike McCarthy, clearly can see it. And they didn't really address anything. There's not a lot of rumors flying around that there's a guy, maybe Aaron Rodgers. But even if they bring back a Rodgers or another vet, they still need a quarterback in, folks. I know I'm not going through every pick. If you want every pick, again, playprofile.com, check it out, Mark 5.0. But there was a name. I kind of teased it earlier. He's still available. So that's why, if he is available in the 20s, which if you just know drafts, if you followed along the NFL draft process, you'll kind of understand that if a few teams label this guy as a first-round pick, the helium is going to get out of control. Just what happens with these positions. But in this mock, he's available, so the Steelers take their QB of the future, Ty Simpson. And I think he's a very talented passer. He's got good mobility. I think he's got good arm strength. He showed it off at the combine. He's got the ability to extend plays, throw off platform. And he really fits kind of that modern, aggressive, offensive type system. And I do kind of see some similarities to, I'm not going to say it's similarities to Aaron Rodgers because, again, you're just talking about such crazy scale. But it would be a little apropos to see a quarterback taken in the 20s, like Rodgers, sit behind Rodgers, learn from McCarthy, who taught Rodgers. You're starting to put the pictures together, right? You're starting to put the pieces together, people. Ty Simpson seems like a great fit for this team, for the Steelers. And, again, not having to be the guy out of the gate. No pressure there if the Steelers want him to wait, want him to learn behind Rodgers. There's really no pressure in the 20s. You're not going to be hoisted on the field if there's a vet on the team and you're picked in the 20s. So I think that could be a great fit, a great fit for the Steelers. Now we're going to stay in Pennsylvania. We're going to go to Philly. Now, again, sometimes things work out in a way where a GM just runs to the podium. And if this guy is available, which, based on some of my sources, things that I'm hearing in the NFL draft circles, I am way too low on this guy, despite his diabolical combine. But at 23, I have the Philadelphia Eagles selecting Kenyon Sadiq. The rumors are swirling that Dallas Goedert will be leaving Philly. He hasn't, at the time of this recording, he hasn't just yet. But adding Sadiq adds another versatile weapon to the Eagles' offense. So if they lose Dallas Goedert and they trade away A.J. Brown, they're going to look to add pass-catching weapons. Receiver, absolutely in play. But why not take a guy like Sadiq? 100th percentile speed, 100th percentile burst, 99th percentile catch radius. A little bit light, for tight end at 6'3", 240. But in today's modern NFL, these guys don't come out as big and beefy anymore. And despite maybe not being the load, the big prototypical donkey, as my guy Cody would call him, still a great blocker. I mean, you watch him on film. There's a reason why Dan Lanning was boasting about his blocking ability. It's there. It's definitely there. And he's a crazy athlete. Put the 4.39 down at the combine, which is the best we've seen since Vernon Davis. Have you heard of him? So if you could just picture a world, I mean, this is actually a pick too that the Eagles could trade up for. I think that the need for a tight end of this caliber could be such a home run for the Eagles. So if he goes there, I mean, you're tight end premium, like very, very excited for that. And maybe he has a love of birds, becomes a duck to an eagle. I don't know if that's possible in nature. No, it's not. What are you talking about, Keelum? I am the authentic one. That's why I'll authentically be stupid when I'm talking and just kind of ramble on. Whatever. Sadiq to the Eagles. I'm actually going to go right to the next pick 24. So the Browns, I talked about their first pick. I'm going to talk about their second pick because I haven't talked about this player yet, Makai Lemon. Now, if you believe what came out of the combine, that he didn't interview well, if you saw him at the podium, seems like a peculiar man, kind of a strange guy. That doesn't mean he can't get drafted high. That doesn't mean he won't be higher than pick 24. It's just, to me, I've got Tyson higher, I've got Tate higher, and there's just a lot of good players of need. In wide receivers, there's always more wide receivers drafted than expected. I didn't expect, Ricky Pearsall and Xavier Legette to find their way into the first round, and they did a few years ago. So there's a chance that he is not available, but in Mock 5.0, he is. And Makai Lemon going to the Browns gives them a much-needed dynamic playmaker. They got their offensive lineman. Now they go ahead and get Makai Lemon. There's rumors that they're looking to potentially offload a Jerry Jeudy. You bring in a guy like Makai Lemon, he brings us some excitement. He's going to bring some energy, some burst, some playmaking ability to help out that wide receiver room. So Makai Lemon is someone I'm going to I don't know if he'll be there, but if he is, the Browns will be more than happy to make that call. Two more players that I'm going to talk about, and then we are going to get on out of here. The first one, again, you're not really seeing him in many first-round mocks. I think he's a great fit for the Denver Broncos at 30. Eli Stowers, tight end from Vanderbilt, 6'4", 240 pounds. Showed up at the combine, and if it wasn't for Kenyon Sadiq, would have been the talk of the town. People would have been eating their shrimp cocktails and just talking about Eli Stowers. 4.51, 97th percentile. He's a 95th percentile speed score, 100th percentile burst score, 99th percentile catch radius. He is a great player. And he was a phenomenal, productive player in college. 700 receiving yards last year, 600 receiving yards the year before that. Former quarterback. He's really just been a good player. He was my tight end one going into the year, and he's not far behind Sadiq. I know Sadiq has been great. He was first round mock here too, but Stowers going to the Broncos seems like they could just take a time machine, build it up, put a little seat in there. Ask Evan Ingram, go ahead, bud, sit down, and just back in time. Let's just take him back in time. Not exactly carbon copy, but again, just the type of player that Sean Payton could really utilize it and really kind of get a lot out of. I mean, we've seen him get so much out of tight ends throughout his coaching career. And last year, Evan Ingram seemed to have fallen off the cliff in terms of productivity, so they may have a need for it. You look at the wide receiver room, yeah, they took Pat Bryant, but I know, is he going to be the wide receiver one? Mims, Troy Franklin was good in his role. Cortland Sutton was great, but he's getting older. They need to replenish that. They got to make sure that Bo Nix has more weapons, and I think Eli Stowers is a great fit for this team. Now, the last player I am going to talk about is going to my New England Patriots. I'm a Pats guy. You see this? You see that Will Fork jersey signed? So, of course, I had to talk about the Pats. And the reason why, as a Pats fan, I'd hope they don't trade their first-round pick for A.J. Brown. Because I believe in my heart of hearts, and it reflects in my mock 5.0, that there will be a good wide receiver for them to take in the first round. And in this iteration of my NFL mock, I have them going with KC Concepcion from Texas A&M. Concepcion has been a big-time riser throughout my big board. He brings such explosive playmaking. He's versatile. He is, my guy Cody Carpentier, his player comp for him is Stephon Diggs. They cut Stephon, bring in younger Stephon. And I just think the fit is so perfect for a guy like Concepcion, a hard-nosed player, do your job kind of guy. I hate to use the cliche, but it's true. Got the vest on looking like Vrabes myself right now. You see that? Looking like Vrabes myself. Call me Matty Q and Vrabel. Vrabes Key Room. Whatever. Keep going. But anyway, KC Concepcion to the Patriots would make this Pats fan very, very happy. And I hope that I was able to make you all very, very happy with this episode of Blue Chips. Again, I am your host, Mr. Matty Kiwoom, the authentic one. And you got to make sure you are subscribed to Ricky HQ. Like this video, leave a comment. What is your favorite pick? Go check out NFL Mock 5.0 at playerprofile.com. Let me know what I got right. Let me know what I get wrong. And I will see you next time.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.